Hello, and welcome to a new beginning for true discipline. I am Grandmaster Angel DeJesus from Angel's Karate. And it's been an honor over the year to spend time giving back to children and turning them into great adults. And that's an area that today, when I look at it, how to train our next generation. And today there's so much input into our children that I wonder how are they able to handle so much input? And is it the input practical? Is it the input beneficial? Is that input will help them to turn into great adults? And people always wonder, why do you call it true discipline? We need to have the understanding from the background of martial arts that discipline starts with the willingness of the disciple to be willing to learn. The disciple is willing to learn, while the master is ready and capable and able to teach. And the way that it happens is through tradition. And I feel very sad that today tradition is not whole like it used to be. It's like we like to invent new things all the time. And that's a big problem. Because every building has a foundation. Every technology had a beginning. And if you understand the beginning or the foundation of a building, it's because you were part of the idea in how to build that building or that new technology. Years ago, we had a program here in the city of Midland called the 5-Night program. The 5-Night program, it had to do with trying to work with students or young men or young ladies or young kids on controlling their behavior. For some reason, they got into trouble. And you wonder, why did they get into trouble? Well, again, discipline is, remember that, the willingness on the part of the disciple or the student to learn, and the willingness and the desire of the teacher to teach. They need to be common ground. One willing to receive and one willing to give. And during the 5-Night program, the idea that we had, and I remember that was through Mr. Ronald Johnson. He was partaker of that. And he even did some awesome thing for those kids. He definitely was part of the Midland Foundation on it. And we did help a lot of kids. And the main idea was his idea because of his grandson. Today he's doing very well, very successful young man. He traveled all over the world. I ain't gonna say his name, but he does travel all over the world. And he got a good job. He's a CPA, an accountant. He's doing very well today. But because of him, Midland Foundation received a donation to be able to help the kids. And the idea behind it was in how to transform a child. And that's when true discipline really started to gain traction with someone that was very hungry for that discipline for his grandson. And I remember like today, back in 1990, he came to the office and actually he was waiting in the parking lot and he saw me and say, "Master Angel." And actually, I used to work for him too. So you see, I got problems. How can we help? Well, thank God, he was hungry, looking for help. I was eager to teach, and we had the proper subject, his grandson. And out of that was the birth of the 5-Night program for the city of Midland that we did for many years. And he had to do what inputs go to your child each and every day. So we made it to have the church involved, in the time the police department, the martial arts school, the school system, and the family. Everybody had to be on the same page. You had to say the same words over and over. You had to apply the same advice over and over. You cannot have 5 people giving a child 5 different advice. See? Because what you're going to bring, 5 opinions, you're going to bring confusion. And we don't want that. We don't want confusion. We want to narrow this child to stay focused and accomplish the learning curve of his behavior, to learn about his behavior. And far as I know, we did touch a lot of individuals, a lot of kids. But taking the subject back to true discipline, I ask the question sometime, how do we trust a person that is not even a father or a mother to teach kids when they don't have their own kids? Or they are too young. I mean, if the tradition is that you have a system that it brings the same tradition over and over, the same way of teaching over and over, then you will succeed at it. But if you have too many influence into it and people with no experience trying to teach somebody through log messages or whatever, through friendship, and that's why I believe we have the kind of mess that we have these days. Too many influences, not a consistent message. And true discipline is based upon tradition and handing down certain information from person to person, from mouth to ear, from mouth to ear. In other words, communicate, talk, experience, practice, it becomes part of you. It becomes who you are. So the example I start with is, if you're going to talk about teaching a child to be polite, it's required that you teach them courtesy. Simple. But it's not just in one example that you teach courtesy. You have to be in constant repetition. The individual, the child, continue to hear those words over and over, and then you explain to them how they must apply them. And when we get to the part of applying, that's when we got to do it by example and by words. Not just by words. You cannot tell somebody, be courteous, and you are not. Do what I say, but don't do what I do. No. That's the wrong message. I remember even here at MCTV over the years, I even did it with live kids over here on the floor. And I said, what is a lie, you know? And they say, well, this. And they say, but there's white lies and there's lies. I say, no, there's lies. For example, there you are sitting at home in the old days, right? And suddenly the phone ring, 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 and your son or daughter pick up the phone and you telling them, I am not here, I am not here. What are you teaching your child in that moment? Teach him to lie. But at the time, it felt good for whatever reason. But those are events that happens a lot. That we don't realize how that little lie affects the upbringing of that child. Then you tell it, don't lie, but mom or dad, you told me to lie. You see? So true discipline, is based upon a principle of being consistent, being persistent, having a definite purpose, and the burning desire to achieve a goal. You have to remember that. Parents, come on. See, I'm a father of 5 kids, grandfather of 7. Imagine that, I'm a granddad of 7 kids, 5 kids. And you know, I chat and I share the story almost everywhere I go, because what is true discipline? Well, my boy can tell you, man, he's only 41 years old. He can tell you, Dad, he was no break. Like, for example, he wanted to play football? Nope. Taekwondo. You want to do this? Nope. Taekwondo. Then when he became old enough, past 12, 13, 14, and 15, then he said, I want to play football. Well, I think he played football. I think he did it in college, in high school. And then he wanted to quit martial arts. Say, you want to do football? Yeah, Dad, I want to do football. Great. Because after you're done with football practice, karate after that. That was it. I didn't allow them to quit. No. I intensified their growing, their growing up. I intensified their responsibility. You want something, you have to work for it. You are not quitting something to start something else. You add more responsibility. Because the Lord showed me a long time ago, the word responsibility for me, it means to respond with your best ability. So you have responsibility, you want your child to respond with the best that they have, not with the less. When you teach a child to quit something, I'm sorry, that's the bad seed. That when you really need it to bear fruit, it will. When you most need it, the bad seed, you need consistency, there's that seed. Poof, comes up. I'm going to quit that. I am not going to push myself. I am not going to finish that. Oh, that's too hard. All this, all that. In life, it doesn't end just when he's 10. Because that same seed will continue to be manifested through their whole life. When they need to break through something, they're going to quit. Because you planted that seed of quitting, not adding more responsibility to it, more power to it, more strength to it. It is your way of training. For example, me as a dad, do I have a manual how to raise kids? Nope. Nobody gave me a manual. But one thing I learned from, see, I'm learning through life that when you have a dad, we hate the dad. When we don't have a dad, we want to have a dad. It's like when you have it, you don't care. When you don't have it, you care. That's the fact of life. But if you want the best, you had to demonstrate it. You had to teach it. You had to spend the time with it. And then the only thing that I have for my experience was my grandfather. What experience do I have with him? He taught me to be courteous. It was yes, sir, no, sir. It was yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Anything else would have cost me. A broken nose? Whoop! My grandfather, yes, he did. He just slapped me like this in a table and I was knocked out. Oh, child abuse. I tell you, that was my best experience ever. I learned from that. Never ever, so when somebody give me food, to me to throw the plate on the table. Like, I don't want this. That was it. I don't want the pow. Master Angel, you saying that on television? It's the truth. Ask my sister, ask my mom. Did I ever throw the food in the table again? Nope. Not at all. Another day, I'm walking to the store that he had. He had a restaurant in a bar and ice cream machine. He had everything. He was good. Anyway, and I'm like, little kid, you're singing. Quítate el zapato, que te lo quiero ver. Quítate el zapato. That's in Spanish. Say, take your shoes off, that I want to see it. The last thing I know, I turned. There's my grandfather. He's looking at me. The last thing, I got grabbed by my feet. He lifted me up. He was a big guy. He was like, and slapped my butt. Bam, bam. Don't you ever sing that song around me ever again. I didn't know what I did wrong. You know, lesson number 2. If you don't know what you're saying, don't say it. If you don't know what you're singing, don't sing it. Because in those days, in that song that I was singing, for them, there was a double meaning to it. I didn't know about the double meaning, but he did. And he wacko. Okay, lesson I learned. So anyway, my point is simple. That even when you do a search on the word for discipline, what you find in the dictionary is like this. It tells you, let me see over here. One more time. He said, number 1, for discipline, control gained by enforcing obedience or order. And remember what I said? For discipline, you need the teacher and the student. Okay? orderly or prescribed conduct or pattern of behavior. Self-control. Number 2 is a punishment. Punishment is there? Number 3, training that corrects, molds, or perfect the mental faculties or moral character. A field of study, a rule or system of rule governing conduct or activity. The obsolete word is instruction. The obsolete instructions. Oh, my goodness. But anyway, going back to the whole purpose of true discipline. Parents, I talk about the finite programs. I didn't want to add confusion to the child. Number 2, you need to have a teacher that have experience, know the value, know the power, and he himself has been taught by one that was also a teacher, that he was taught from another teacher that also was a teacher. In tradition, you must maintain the path. You cannot break the path. You got to stay with the technology change, but that path should not change. Why? Because everything else that you introduce will deviate from the goal. What is for you to become a person of what? Of discipline. A person that understands who? Themselves. Because in the teaching of the discipline, they're going to learn the ability to master and control why? Their mind. They're going to learn how to control their hands. They know how to control their physical body. They know how to be alert. But that doesn't happen all at once. That's a process through time. That's why traditional martial arts, it's not that somebody today learned how to throw a punch or throw another one, that's it. Martial arts or taekwondo is not for fight. It's a self-defense. And it's a lifestyle. A lifestyle. But we had changed all the rules. I've been doing this since 1968. I was in Germany when the Kung Fu fighting song came up. I was dancing in the discotheque in Munich, in Stuttgart, in Nuremberg. Yes, dancing, spinning, and jumping on those days. I was one of the elite kids over there. Wow, that guy know that Bruce Lee stuff. Yeah, and the Taekwondo, and the Shotokan, and the Kung Fu, you see. It was all the arts. So, the discipline that I learned, by the time I was 18, came through a whipping. A 12-year-old kid, taller than me, beat me up. And you know why he beat me up? Because in the classroom, there were 5 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 rows, and I sat on the front seat, on the first chair, right in front of the desk of the teacher. That was my spot. I wanted to learn. But this big guy wanted that chair. But I got there first. Didn't help me any. Because me, boom, 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 boom. You know somebody hit you. And by the time you say, ouch, they may hit you 20 times. That happened to me. That demoralized me. That really made me cry so hard that going back home, and still today, I remember that was the most embarrassing moment of my life. But it was my grandpa. What's happening? Angel, what's happening? I told him. He said, don't worry. He found out that a guy has come in from Korea, that he used to be the son of an elder of the church that was next to my house. And he came from Korea. He has spent years in Korea, and he came as an instructor, a black belt in Hapkido Kuksul 1. That's a Korean style. And he became my teacher. One good thing that he has was this thing is only used for defense only. And it's to teach you, for you to learn how to control oneself. And he said, this go with the gospel of Jesus Christ. He didn't tell me because he drank. He didn't tell me because he was a bully. But I'm telling you, he was a great fighter. He still is. You know, That was my introduction to the martial arts. But you know how the discipline began? Getting up on Saturday morning, barefoot, running from my downtown all the way up the hill, all the way the mountain, go to the highest point, and then run right back again. Then go to the beach, run on the sand, pound on the trees. I mean, it was brutal compared to what it is today. But by the time that I was in the military, I was skinny, 126 pounds. I went in. But my feet and my boot was able to move. They knew right away that that skinny little thing was not something you mess with. But it was what? Self-defense. And then he teaches you to be the best. And that's the part that we need to start focusing more and more, because when you teach discipline, it's because the teacher wants you to be the best, and you as the student want to be the best. So, in the area alone of teaching a child of the 5 nights, you don't want to have 5 different messages. You need to have the same message coming out of all of them. So it requires more. Actually, when I was teaching this thing, then the book came out, it takes a whole village to teach a child. So way before that, I was already talking about that one. So, again, take the 5 to speak the same thing. And discipline is the end result of it. Now, put the clock to today. Discipline, the way that I tell my student is, it is to be the very best. To show your very best. Where? Everywhere. At home, at school, at church, when you are with your friends. See? That's the tradition of martial arts. And we don't owe the idea of giving something for something is real. If you give me what I want, you get what you want. If you don't give me what I want, you don't get what you want. Point, stop. Even the same medicine, the same teaching, my own son did it to me with my youngest daughter. Because I was daddy, I wanted to give an extra stripe. He said, no stripe. I say, I'm the master, I give it a stripe. Well, that thing came back to haunt me, but thank God that the one that got the stripe, she never let me down. She always was strong and fireable, and she's doing very good. So good that the same person that got the stripe is about to graduate on the 14th of this month from Michigan State University with 4 points as an accountant. That's my daughter Jasper, which worked with me here. She did demonstration here. She hold those cameras. She worked in the control room. See, every kid around Midland, they should be in here learning how to do this stuff. Know how to do this stuff. This stuff control your brain. But it doesn't teach you anything. It doesn't teach you how the phone works. Right? These things, if they are not used properly, they are dumbing the peoples down. They are making the peoples dumber. So, again, courtesy is the first thing that you need to show to a child, to respect, to understand who's a senior, who's a junior, who's a baby. You got to know how they communicate to each other. We have been teaching our kids to talk to an adult like they are an adult. For the love of God, they are not adults, they are kids. And we feel so happy when they talk to an adult like they are an adult. What you're doing is opening area that later on in life you are not going to control. And that's why today's society, my opinion, is the me society. I know. Now we want everything instant. Like McDonald's, that's how you want to learn how to do martial arts. Nah, I don't play on feelings. I don't play in what you call emotions. No. You have a brain. You better learn how to use it. Take it properly, that you become the best. That's what tradition teaches. My instructor, which I'm going to bring back over here, he's 85 years old right now, one of them. I've been with him since 1979, or through him and Master Terry Batch and him, and I've been with him since then. And I'll tell you this. He preached the same thing. And the more that we encourage, you need to encourage your child, teach him to be consistent, persistent, with a definite purpose and a burning desire to achieve that goal. Can you remember that? Don't deviate. Don't yield. Don't give up so easy. Oh, I'm tired, I'm bored, so yeah, go ahead this, go ahead that. No. Believe me, I hear different universities from some of my students that today, I got even one that is a submarine nuclear scientist, or anyway, one of those big brain guys, you know. Got another one, he just joined the Navy. Have another one become a great MP. I got another one that became a Secret Service. I ain't going to tell you. I teach them to be the best, to succeed whatever they are. Without daddy and mommy and daddy will be proud of them because they are giving their very best, and they know that they are giving the very best. So, with that being said today, I am Grandmaster Angel DeJesus from Angel's Karate, but above all, true discipline. True discipline is the rule of all. So don't forget, fathers and mothers, or mothers and fathers, to look for true discipline back in MCTV again. Until next time, we love you. We'll see you then. Bye now.